What is happening, guys? You are back once again in the Republic of Players podcast. This is episode 12. And with us today, we have the usual crew in Jack and Seamus. What's happening, guys?
All right, lads.
Hello.
And we have a very special guest. It's Michael Payne, aka Payne Train. What's happening, Michael?
All right, how's it going?
Not too bad. How are you keeping?
Not that. Can't complain. Can't complain. Everything's all smooth sailing.
Glad to have you on the show.
Yeah.
Lads, what's the crack? What have you been playing? Seamus, we'll go to you first.
Everything under the sun, but let's see. Because we had the week off in between, I've played a lot of games. I played Death's Gambit and finished it, which was brilliant. It was really good. A lot of people watched me fail on stream. Apparently,
it was only one boss.
yeah, there was one boss.
What's the length of that game?
So I it was longer than I thought it would be, but I want more kind of thing. So like Dead Cells is short but complicated. But Death's Gambit has about 13 or 14 different bosses, and each one has different mechanics and stuff. It's a little bit longer, and like if Jesus, what the fuck was that? It definitely holds up for replayability as well. Like it has the new game plus one and stuff like that, and they're still patching bugs out of the game and stuff. They've really paid attention to it.
And I seen because I actually got it there last week. Now it didn't hit me as much as it did you, but I think I need that little bit of time to jump in. Games like that, games that are like Dark Souls. Just I can remember Neo not really hitting me first when I first started playing it, and then it took a little bit of time, and I realized that they are doing certain kind of different things in this game. But with Death's Gambit, I seen from the get-go, I mean, when you create a character, straight away you have a guy that is exactly like the Bloodborne character who gains back, isn't it health when you attack or you lose?
Yeah.
You lose health, you can gain it back by attacking. And then there's other ones that kind of throw back to the Dark Souls characters. And when I jumped in, it just didn't really grab me straight away. But I'm willing to give it another go if you're complimenting it the way you are.
Oh well, like we all know if it's Metroidvania-esque or and I thought I'm going to promote it anyway because I love that genre. But I do think it definitely offers more than Dead Cells in my opinion, because you get the different classes. You can play as a wizard and you can play as a ranger and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I think there's definitely more to offer as a game and has more bosses and it has like a whole story lore with it as well.
All right, there is a story. Yeah.
Whereas Dead Cells is kind of you just spawn somewhere. And you got to work your way through it.
Yeah, that was another problem because I played Dead Cells so soon before I played Death's Gambit. I think because Dead Cells, like you said, there isn't really a story, but there is a really good gameplay loop there, and the fact that it is roguelike, it gives that. I don't think Death Gambit is roguelike, is it? It's just kind of you die and you start back at a checkpoint, like say Dark Souls.
It's more like that. You don't have to start again, kind of thing.
Awesome. What else have you been playing, or is that it?
Well, I've been playing Tekken.
Nice.
Yeah.
Why have you been playing Tekken, Seamus?
I wonder why me and Jack have been playing Tekken. We went to Celtic Throwdown there at the weekend, and we
You're now pro gamers, is what you're saying.
I think we were pro and retired on the same day.
Yeah.
So tell us, because I watched the live stream, what is the level of competition like? Do you think you could go back next year and say, okay, I know this guy knows his combos, but he's not going to get me this time? Or is it a case that they're just leaps and bounds above where you are now?
They're definitely leaps and bounds, but above where any of us are now. But I think if I was to go next week and then I was to go play Tekken 4 days a week from between here and there, you could easily compete at that level. It's especially with Tekken, because Tekken isn't as fast as Blaze Blue or Street Fighter or Turbo or anything like that. It's slower and it's more melodical and it's more tactical in the way you're fighting it. So I think people have more control over their own outcome. I just came up again
more grounded. It's probably the biggest fighting game that's very grounded. And I mean, there's a jab, cross, low. You know, there's very grounded moves. Whereas in Street Fighter, you have the power ups, you have the crazy moves. Now I know there is that in Tekken, but I've always preferred Tekken just for the grounded fighting style.
Yeah, well, I think more people. I think definitely more people could play Tekken and be competitive with it and enjoy it a bit more. Like with the likes of other games like BlazBlue or Street Fighter, if you screw up once, you're kind of stuck. Tekken kind of gives you that bounce back ability. You can kind of grow back into a fight and stuff. And it definitely, at a competitive level, I think more people could compete at it. Other than that, I started playing Resident Evil Code Veronica X today. And
nice throwback.
Yeah, it was like after like 14 years of not playing it, and it's still brilliant. I swear to God. Apart from the cutscenes, like the ones that are actually like in-game cutscenes are fine, but when they actually switch to the actual movies, the movies are actually terrible.
Very polygon type style.
Oh man, it's dreadful. It's like you're watching like a really bad like CRT tube that has a magnet on top of it, and it's just flickering the whole time. It really hasn't. It really, they have not held up. The game itself holds up perfectly.
Let's throw it to our special guest, Michael. What have you been playing lately?
Well, funny enough, actually, because of the whole hype around the Resident Evil 2 remake, we've been going over Resident Evil. We finished there Resident Evil 0 there the other day, and now we're jumping into Resident Evil 1 HD Remastered again.
Oh, nice. Great remaster.
Oh yeah, I love it. Loving it so far. I was rambling around there for about 2 hours wondering what I was meant to do, but it's been ages since I played it, so I'm just happy to get back into it. And then just it's fresh mind, like you feel like you're playing a new game all over again because it was the director's cut I used to play, but now this is the HD remaster, so it's all different and all HD graphics and stuff.
Have you got to? Are they called the Crimson Zombies?
Oh, yeah.
When they're like super.
My chatter excited for me to get to them.
Oh my God!
You're gonna have fun with them.
I have a save point that they have spawned, and it is tough. It gets very, very tough at that stage. But I'll throw it in real quick. What I've been playing is Resident Evil 7. I got it on PC recently, and I have been going through that. I'm through about maybe 4 hours. I've reached the second main boss, because you meet different family members and they end up, you end up having to fight them. And the way you fight them is just very creative and a way that I've never seen any Resident Evil game do it before. The game is scary as hell. I have to play it with my wife because I'm a chicken shit and she has to look after me. But she's even going, I don't want to play this anymore, because when I'm playing, I'm kind of looking over my shoulder and she's like, don't, stop looking behind you. Stop looking behind you. But no, I took a long time to jump on that game, just for the fact that when I played PT, when PT came out, it was first person, it was different, and it was connected to Silent Hill. And I felt like the Resident Evil game was almost taken from PT, so I didn't really give it a chance. But I've given it a chance, and anyone out there that hasn't played it, it is phenomenal. It is like it's different in a way that's brilliant for the Resident Evil series going forward. So continue, Michael, if you have anything else to play. I just wanted to throw in there that I was playing Resident Evil as well.
No, not really. Like, once we finish up the HD version of Resident Evil, we don't know what we're going to go on to. Looking forward to Spider-Man next Friday, really, and so are my community, because they're feeling that that's going to be a game now that's going to be all story focused and stuff like that. But other than that, though, it's mainly Resident Evil right now.
Perfect. Jack, what have you been trying to platinum? Some weird game as usual?
I platinumed it yesterday, thank you very much.
What was that game that you platinumed?
Akiba's Trip.
No, this was last show. Did you not? Is that the same game that you posted up yesterday that your PlayStation
went? I finally managed to platinum it after moving and everything else. I just didn't get much time to get into it. I finally finished it yesterday after 8 playthroughs.
So is that 8 playthroughs? Oh my God. So it's a really good game, yeah?
It wouldn't have been that bad, except it should have taken me only about 5 or 6, except I screwed up 3 times.
Oof. That's
the third time wasn't my fault. My controller disconnected from the PS4, and I didn't have it to rest mode to suspend the application.
How long is a playthrough?
The first playthrough took me about 9 hours. Subsequent ones took me about 3.5.
Okay,
because there was a new game plus element to it, so you could carry on all your equipment and everything like that. So it was much easier to finish it off after that.
So out of 10, what would you give it?
Probably a 7.
7 out of 10. That's pretty good. Okay. I'm not going to
And
try. I'm not going to check it out because the name is weird and it just sounds like it's super weird.
It is incredibly weird. Not gonna lie there. And then I'm moving on to Digimon World Next Order next, which is going to be hell.
Just a bit of madness for Jack as usual.
Yep.
So before we move on to Michael's questions, I just want to go over a little bit of housekeeping. Recently, you will see that on our site and the Facebook and everything else that we have recently changed our brand to the Republic of Players. We just want to let everyone know, thanks for your patience. It has been a hell of a decision to try and change it up, and we've done it. Big shout out to Paddy that is meant to be on the show, but he's actually sick, so get well soon, Paddy. But yeah, we've changed to the Republic of Players, and we're still going to be the same amazing community, and we're still going to have this podcast going forward. So, without further ado, let's move on to Michael, and let's pick your brain for the next 10 minutes. I'll start. We want to do this like a little bit of a round table. So, I mean, the questions could come from any of us. We're just going to take it easy and relax. So the first one is just a very simple one. It's just tell us about yourself, who you are, and how you started into the world of gaming and streaming.
Well, yeah, like from the intro, obviously my name's Michael Payne, but the username merely be Payne Train, and obviously the channel name is Payne Train Gaming. Mainly, it was funny. Payne Train actually came from secondary school. That was meant to be a slag towards me from the others, and it was talk about like taking a weakness from that in their point of view and turning it into a strength in my point of view. You know, that sort of way.
Deadly.
Yeah, like I mean, as soon as I heard Payne Train, I was like, "Oh, that's really good." I actually really like that name, and they were all like, "Oh, Payne Plane," and I was like, "No, Payne Train will do. Payne Train will do." So they just kept calling me that for the rest of the year, and I thought it was epic. So I kept it ever since after that. Now, in terms of me coming into the world of gaming, this was going all the way back to when I was like 3 years old. We had the old Pong console. I don't know if anyone remember the old Pong console.
It's not the one where you had to stick like the thing up on the screen by chance to get like a different background view.
No, thank God. No, I seen that and I was like, I couldn't deal with that. No, we had two little controllers and all they were like, the dimmer switches type switches.
Yeah.
It was like that, and it just make the thing going up and down. So we had that for a while, and then I went to the arcade and we're playing various things in the arcade, but they were very, very standard stuff. But then I came home from creche when I was like 3.5 years old, and my dad was like, "Oh, here, one of the guys in work didn't want this," and I said, "You take it." And I was like, "What is it?" It's like, "It's a Sega." And I was like, "Okay, what is it?" And it's like, "It's a console." I was like, "Okay." So he hooked it up to the TV anyway, and I think the first game I played was Columns. I don't know if any of you guys know that. It was yeah, it was basically the Sugar Crush a game back then. So you got to obviously put 3 of the same color together, and then they fall down, and you get rid of them. Basically, it's another Tetris game. And the second game I played then was Sonic. And I love Sonic. Sonic the Hedgehog, the first one was my love to bits from that. And then eventually I made my way to the best fighting game series, in my opinion, and my love for the past 25 years, Mortal Kombat.
Deadly.
Yeah, so that's more or less where it began. Like I played that, I played Mortal Kombat, and I played all the other games like Sonic the Hedgehog and all non-stop for a good few years. And of course, as I got older, I kept whinging to my mother. I wanted the new console, I wanted the N64, and I wanted the Nintendo, and etc. etc. So yeah, naturally they grew from there. And then I found YouTube early 2000s. Started a small channel. It was just for random videos and stuff like that. But I think it was about 2005, 2006, I started recording game videos, as crap as they were, and then it just kind of got involved from that. And when I got into streaming was only about 3-4 years ago, because obviously we all know about the adpocalypse on YouTube and how bad YouTube's gotten lately. And I got my partnership from them was revoked and all that sort of stuff, so it kind of gave me a headache. So I just said, right, I'm just going to start streaming from now on, see how well that goes. Started streaming on Twitch, didn't really like the quality. Every time I saw it, it was very bad. Went to YouTube, that was okay for a while, but then I found Mixer, and that's been my home ever since. And I thought that was probably the best one really that I've been to anyway.
Jack?
You brought up saying Mixer was the best one that you've actually streamed off of, but what sort of other advantages do you get from Mixer? From using Mixer, so I should say.
The good thing about Mixer is it's more community focused. So let's say if you type in a comment saying hi. Now on Twitch or YouTube, that wouldn't come up on my screen for literally 30 seconds. But the good thing about Mixer though is it's got a faster than light mode, which basically in 0.05 of a second, that comment will be up on my screen and I'll see it straight away. And it's more interactive with communities and stuff towards each other, and I feel like it's best because you're just like, you're there and you're playing a game and you're talking to someone, but they won't hear you for literally 30 seconds, and then you won't get their comment for 30 seconds. So sometimes you could miss it or whatnot. But I feel with Mixer, you've got your whole comment section up on your window there. You're playing the game, and it's like they're beside you. You're looking over, going, "Oh yeah." It's like having them in the room with you, basically. I feel that's so much more of an advantage than Twitch or YouTube. Not that I'm bad mouthing both of them, but I just feel Mixer is just better in that sense of quality.
Cool. So you were mentioning the Mixer community there. How do you think that it's one of the friendliest? Like I don't use Mixer, but I've heard reports that it's got a great community, very friendly. Is there incentive to be friendly on that community, or what is it that you think brings the good out in people?
Yeah, no, it's an amazing community, and definitely it would be the streamers, because the good thing about this community is the streamers help one another. Like we'll talk to each other, we'll promote each other, we'll do various things like just to help them out and all that sort of stuff, really to keep them going. So let's say I feel like we all know there's going to be trolls on every website. No matter where you go, there's going to be trolls everywhere. I feel the people who come over to Mixer from Twitch are getting probably too trolled over there, and they don't like it, and they feel the community in there is very kind of toxic and stuff because that's all they see. And then when they come over to Mixer, they'll get all the nice people coming in and stuff like that. Talking to them and stuff like that. You can jump into a person on Mixer who's just starting. You can host their channel. So if you have a load of followers already, and if they come in to check on what your channel's up to, they'll see that you're hosting this person, and then they can watch that person, and they can follow them, and they can say hi and all that sort of stuff. And the good thing about Mixer as well is it actively asks you to get mods in your channel, so mods can keep an eye on the chat. They can get rid of any toxic stuff that comes up in the chat. They can report very bad comments and stuff like that as well, which is another good thing. So I feel that's more or less why the community on Mixer is all, it's all friendly, because they get rid of the toxic ones straight away.
I actually stopped by your Mixer earlier on there just to I was just kind of curiosity of it. You were actually hosting on there, Lily, but you were typing in her chat, but you were typing on your own stream and it came up in her chat. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, like when you host someone, their chat comes into your channel as well.
I thought that was an interesting aspect that they have to their advantage anyway. But on the same kind of topic of like audience building stuff, like with Mixer, some people, because it's newer, is it easier, or is it just a thing of like, how would you promote your channel to build your audience kind of thing? What would you like if you were to say to yourself 5 or 10 years ago, you need to do this now? What would you say to yourself kind of thing?
It's really networking. Like you got to go around, if you got to go into other people's channels and just talk to them and build up a relationship with them, basically around just good aspects, chatting to them, being friendly with them and all that sort of stuff, really. And then eventually, like if they end up friending you back and you're there streaming, one day they'll say, okay, now it's time for a raid. So what a raid is basically is when a person's at the end of their stream and they have a good few people in their stream, they'll go over to someone else's channel, host them, and then they'll spam the chat with some type of funny hashtag, like mine would be train raid or something like that, and then basically the people who've come over from your channel to their channel will watch this person, and if they like their content and stuff, they'll hit the follow button. And then then his community or her community will grow in that sense as well, that sort of way. So I feel like that sort of ability and stuff like that is just great in Mixer ways as well.
So just one that kind of popped into my head there. It's not one of the questions that I was going to ask, but you're talking about Mixer as this very entwined community. Is it difficult, say, for people on the outside looking in? I mean, do you have to sign up to view your streams, or is it a case that you can just, anyone can do it, just like, say, YouTube? You can just jump into your stream without having a Mixer account, and there your broadcast is, or your highlights are.
Yeah, well, they would actually advise you to have a Microsoft, because basically Mixer's owned by Xbox now, but they allow you to stream on any platform. They kind of more advised Xbox, but you can stream PlayStation, Xbox, and all. So if you came over from YouTube, you're able to view the stream. You can sit there and you'll be able to see the chat going and all, but you wouldn't be able to leave a comment or anything unless you signed in, because obviously there has to be some get back to
Yeah.
like a get.
No, that's fair enough. I just
Yeah.
thought maybe that if you clicked in, it might turn you away and say, "Look, you need a Mixer account," and kind of force you down the
No,
route
no.
of actually that. No, that's perfect, because that's, for me, that's one of the advantages, and it's the reason why I use YouTube. It's just it's accessible to everyone, and anyone can just jump in and view your stuff. Do you stream a variety of games, or do you feel like that streaming one game every, say, 3 weeks is better? Or do you think just, picking and choosing and whatever you want to do is best? What way do you kind of schedule your streams?
Well, I'd say this would be different from every other streamer. Well, the majority is the streamers. I wouldn't classify myself as a specific one game person. Like, if people want to play Fortnite, that's fair enough. That's their thing. But like, let's say if I'm on and I've nothing else, I don't have anything in my head that I plan to stream, and someone goes to me, "Oh, do you want to play with us on Fortnite?" I was like, "Grand, okay, I'll play Fortnite, and I'll stream Fortnite." Whoop-de-doo. But if I have a certain game, like I play God of War, the new PlayStation 4 God of War there a while ago, and that's one of my passion series. I love that series, and I won't play anything else till I've played that the whole way through. And
Nice.
the same thing when Detroit become human. When I got that, I didn't get it first day. I got it a while ago, but once I got that again, we wanted to play that full through as well, because we played Heavy Rain full through, and then we played Until Dawn full through. We had played Beyond Two Souls ages ago before that, and then I said, right, grand, we'll get Beyond Two Souls, or sorry, we'll get Detroit Become Human, and we'll play that one game full through. Because once you get immersed and involved in a story, you don't want to leave it for a while. You want to keep that going. It's like Game of Thrones. As soon as you see the ending of one of those seasons, you really want to know what's coming next. You don't want to wait 2 years for the next season. But then again, like that's the good thing about games, is basically I'll just say, okay, I have to go now, guys, but we will be playing this next stream, and everyone's excited and they can't wait to get back into the story, more or less.
Right. Jack?
Sorry. But what tips can you give people who are just trying to start off streaming or are looking to get into streaming?
Streaming in general, probably the best tip I could suggest would be, just be friendly to everyone on the platform that you're going to go into. Like, there's no point in starting off and then just like, don't, when you go into someone's stream just to see how they do it, don't be like embarrassed to say something in chat. Say, hi, I'm new to the platform and stuff like that. It's all about building a relationship inside, and once you start streaming, the community will come. You don't have to go straight into games that are very big and popular right now if you don't want to. There's a lot of new streamers I've seen go straight to Fortnite because that's the in thing right now, Fortnite or PUBG. And they say, "Oh, I have to play this because I want to get followers." It's like, no, you don't. It's like, play the games you want to play, and then the community will come in and they'll watch you, and if they like you, they'll stick around, they'll hit the follow button, they'll hit the subscribe button. A lot of my friends also think that it's all about being a character, because they keep mentioning Dr. Disrespect, because he plays a certain character. He's all mental and stuff like that when he's on camera, and when he's off camera, he's a completely different person. I don't feel that way. I feel like when I'm on a thing, I'm not being a character. I'm just being me. Fair enough, I'm not using my actual name. I'm using a name called Payne Train. I mean, it's my actual second name, but like, it's still me. I mean, Jacksepticeye, I don't know, does it all the time. He's got Jacksepticeye, but he's just being himself, basically. He might have put on maybe a small bit more than he was back in the day, but he's just feeling more and more comfortable with his community now, that he can just go a bit more nuts and stuff like that. So, like, the best thing I could say for starting streamers is just be nice to the people on your platform. definitely look into. I'd say my best teacher was always YouTube. Like they always put up the best sort of settings to stream from, best ways to do things if you want to try out various mods or like commands and stuff like that. And just be. It's all about networking, really. Again, be nice and talk to people. We're always Mixer community are always there to help you, and they will help you in their discords. Every discord I've been in with a Mixer streamer has a stream help or a stream support, and then people will just type in there saying, oh, how do I do this? And people there have no problem telling them how to do things, basically.
Just a question, like it's just on top of everything here. Just with like I know with streamers and stuff, like people like to collaborate. Do you collaborate with a lot of people, or is there a specific group of people, or like a guild or a clan of people that you will only like collaborate with? And like, do you have to approach them, or do they approach you? And how does that kind of work for you?
Well, there is a good few people that I've made like big friends basically on Mixer. A few have become my best friends. Now, obviously, yeah, they'd be the main people I collaborate. But let's say if I'm finishing up a stream and let's say we were playing Resident Evil, okay, and be like, okay, that's grand. I'd look and see who was on to do the raid thing, and if it's only like maybe the bigger people that are on, none of the smaller people would be on. I'd actually go into the Resident Evil category title and see who's probably like who only has maybe 1 or 2 viewers, and then I'd raid them and I'd like, oh hey, how's it going, just stopping in to say hi, we're going to watch you now, and everyone can basically like follow them if they wish and stuff like that. But yeah, no, I think it was Anti Tinkerbell who basically showed me Mixer, and I love her for that. And ever since then, I've basically known so many more people branching out from that. And of course, there's more people every day that I go into their streams and say, oh, hey, how's it going? I see you're playing this. That's awesome. Like, I like this game too, and then it builds a relationship from there, really.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really interesting aspect of Mixer that I'm sure Twitch has it to an extent, but it seems to be built on this community aspect and helping people out. And I think that's really cool. I didn't know too much about Mixer obviously before you came on, but I'm interested in the platform and just the fact that it is trying to promote just being nice to people. And I think with streaming, yourself, it's very hard to make any sort of ripple in the streaming industry today because so many people are doing it. I like the fact that you just play what you want as well. I think you were talking earlier on about people get into a rut of I have to play this and I have to play that. I think that really goes towards more people that are made famous by the game that made them famous. I mean, if Ninja went and started playing, Command and Conquer, I don't think it would go down too well with his fan base. So for you to stream what you want to stream and to be successful at it, I my hat's off to you. I think it's awesome. Anyone else have any more questions, guys?
No, I think I kind of got it out there. But especially that last one, I was kind of just curious about like, because as someone who streams like part time, about just like about collaborating with people and stuff and how people approach it. I think that was pretty well covered there, though.
Sweet, thanks a million, Michael.
No worries.
We're going to move on to news. We've got a big enough news section here, so we're just going to go through the news and have a little chat about each topic. The first one is, I suppose it's a small one, but one that I'm very happy about. It's Assassin's Creed is going to skip a major release next year. That means that we're not going to have a new Assassin's Creed. They're going to give the 2-year cycle again, which they did for Origins after, I think the game before that was Unity, which was released an absolute mess. And I think the problem was the fact that they released 2 games. It was Syndicate and Unity a year after each other, and it was the 2 of them were release broken. And I think Ubisoft, they're going to do the new game, which is Odyssey, and then they're going to take a break. Odyssey, I think they're going to get away with it because it's similar to what Origins is. But how do you guys feel about Ubisoft giving Assassin's Creed a 1-year break once again?
I think it's a really good move from them. I think people would prefer it if they just like when they released Origins, people were like, "Yes, this is what we needed. You took your time with it. This is brilliant." Now, I think people were worried when they heard Odyssey was coming out this year as well, and people were kind of nearly encouraging them to take a break. So I think for them, it's nice for them to take a step back and they can say, "Well, this is what people want, and they want us to kind of do this right." So to take a year off, they're not going to mind again.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Jack, are you an Assassin's Creed fan?
I am, and I have to agree with Fano. The 2 year break. I haven't played Origins yet, but I've heard nothing but amazing things.
Phenomenal.
But that 2 year break seems to have done so much for this Assassin's Creed series because with Unity and Syndicate, you could tell they were on a decline. People were giving out about them more than they were actually praising them. Whereas at Origins, I've heard very little giving out about them compared to praising them. It's gone completely 180 with it. So the 2 year gap again will help big time.
Definitely. Michael, are you an Assassin's Creed fan?
Yeah, like I've been playing Assassin's Creed from the very first one, and like yeah, when we got up to Unity, it was such a buggy mess. Then they were glad to take a few years to develop Origins, and I played Origins. Origins was great. Like Origins was beautiful to look at. Like there was so many various missions and stuff. And now you're looking at Odyssey, and it doesn't feel like an Assassin's Creed game to me, to be quite honest. Like it just feels like a glorified Spartan 300 game, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like I mean, you're not even an assassin. You're just a Spartan, as far as I'm aware. There's no word really of an assassination type thing, unless not that I've seen anyway. And it's just the whole Spartan kick thing and all. It's just a glorified. I feel it's a glorified 300 game, and that's why I'm happy that they're taking an extra year out. Because again, as you said, when they took the extra year or so out to do Origins, and then the Origins came out, and that was phenomenal. And then they brought out Odyssey now again a year later, and everyone was like, "What the hell is this? This is just glorified 300 all over again." And now they're deciding to another 2 years. If they do this, and if they see that it works for 2 years, because just because you're giving a game an extra year or so to polish it and get it down and stuff like that doesn't mean you're going to lose sales. If anything, it's going to sell more because people are going to be like, okay, they're polishing it up a hell of a lot more than they were Unity, and look how bad Unity was. And Unity was very terrible with sales and stuff. So that's why I feel the extra year is going to help it a lot, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on Odyssey. I am not a huge 300 fan. I've made that clear in previous podcasts that I got given out to for. But
I don't have it handy, or are I?
It's not in the background there, no. Paddy's going to rip me asunder tomorrow if I destroy 300 once again on him. But I do get your point with it. Doesn't seem like it's about anything to do with the assassins. It seems like it's trying to glorify this movie that came out a while ago. Now I do know the movie is based on a comic book, which is based on a thing that really happened, but it's it just feels to me a little bit sellout, I suppose you could say. And I said it actually before the news was announced that I think they should take a year out. Like, why are they giving us? I mean, anyone that plays Origins, that game is massive. I love that game. For me, it's the best Assassin's Creed game. I never really got into any of the Assassin's Creed before that, apart from Black Flag. I loved, but I think Origins, it just brought the series forward in a way that blew me away. And yeah, I think the break is going to be really cool, and I'd love to see them doing something maybe in Japan for the new installment after Odyssey, just something totally different and just break the boundary a little bit. But let's move it on a little bit quicker here because we've got a couple of other news stories. Seamus is itching to get at this one, so we'll throw it at him. Streets of Rage 4 is coming out. Who the hell seen that one coming?
I am that's probably like my highlight of the week, and I mean, like
do you have any backing of where that came from? Because all I see was a trailer.
I haven't got a clue. But then again, I haven't really been like focusing ear to the ground kind of thing. I was kind of after like Celtic Throne and stuff. I was kind of spent, so I was kind of taking a break from like looking for stuff. And then it just showed up on my newsfeed, and I thought someone was taking the piss because it was kind of the cartoon drawing thing. And
it looks gorgeous.
Oh my god, I haven't been so happy in a long time. I cannot wait. I can't wait to just get someone else to sit there and just say, lads, we're going to play Streets of Rage. And they'd be like, what? Are you breaking out the Mega Drive? No. Yeah. We're going to play the new one.
But I love the fact that they still keep the old style. They've obviously upgraded that. And we always talk about indie games that are using this kind of retro style. But this is proper retro sequel to a game that we loved in our childhood. Michael, you've talked about your Sega Mega Drive. Were you a Streets of Rage player back in the day?
A massive Streets of Rage player. I used to only just play the first one. I never really got the second and third one. Only recently that I started playing them. But I know Seamus isn't really going to like me when I say this, but I'm not a massive fan of the fourth one. just because now I'm not going to dash it. We've only seen a couple of seconds of gameplay, but the way that they've decided to go with a kind of a cartoony look, I just don't like it. I like the way it was back in the first Streets of Rage. I don't know why, but I mean it's the same sort of thing. I think it was kind of like it was a pixelated cartoon look back in the day, but just the updated stuff, I'm like, yeah. But I'm gonna wait till I see more before I throw any judgments in there. Really.
Jack, looking forward to it, or you're with
I
Mike?
haven't actually played any of the Streets of Rage games, so I can't comment on it.
Seamus is about to just leave here.
I could just imagine Seamus trying to reach through my screen just to slap me right now.
Seamus, it's going to be me and you playing Streets of Rage 4. Don't
I think
worry.
so.
You'll have
The
someone
only
there.
thing that disappoints me about it is that there is only the two characters. There's only Axel and Blaze.
Yeah, you wonder where the others are.
Unlockable DLC. 2018 people, we're going to have to pay for them.
Oh God.
Microtransactions.
I just can't believe no one else is hyped for them.
I'm
absolutely gobsmacked.
I,
I'm hoping that next day I announce Golden Axe 4 and I will lose my shit then.
No,
That will be like...
the reason why I love it so much is the way it was announced. It came out of nowhere, and I get an email with all the press passes and stuff, and it basically just says Streets of Rage 4 is coming, no console announced, and that was literally it. Like, and you had the trailer, so there's very little information out there. When we get more information on it, we'll give it to you. But I'm excited. Seamus is excited. The two other guys will be excited when they play it because it's going to be awesome. I'm sure it's like, I understand the issue with the graphics. It is a little bit different, but I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it looked like a cartoon that I could watch or play with my son. So the next bit of news, and this one is more my cup of tea. This one is a game that's coming out that I am just really looking forward to. It's up there with the top maybe 3 or 4 that I'm looking forward to. Cyberpunk 2077 got a revealed gameplay trailer. It was a pretty hefty trailer, or sorry, chunk of gameplay, and it just went through, I believe, what the media scene at E3 this year, and it was just a chunk of gameplay. You got to see character creation, you got to see gameplay, you got to see the driving mechanics, and I am a huge fan of the cyberpunk style, and I used to love Deus Ex back in the day, and this game is, yeah, it's up there for me. The style is just perfect for me. Any of you guys looking forward to Cyberpunk 2077?
I was looking forward to Cyberpunk 2077.
Okay.
And then they made it first person.
That's a problem, is it? Yeah, I've actually heard that problem from a couple of people.
That's my thing with it now.
Yeah.
I think especially because they're a company who are like everything, they show everything off from the third person, like their big games like The Witcher stuff, they're third person games. So you kind of expect that going into it. At least I felt that was like what I was supposed to be expecting with these vast, massive, graphical masterpieces in the background. I think you bring that into first person, you're kind of just looking at another Deus Ex game. That's where I feel like this is kind of just maybe like, obviously it's not, it's a bit more, it's a bit different story and stuff like that. I feel like it's Watch Dogs meets Deus Ex for me. I think that's kind of just where this is at for me. It's a big drop, but graphically it's just amazing. I think that like the gameplay they showed like last week and stuff was brilliant, but I don't think there's enough in it that's different for me to want to go out and get it. I think I'll wait until it comes down in price, and I'll wait until everyone else had a go and stuff. But I really did lose interest once they kind of made sure it was the first person and not third person.
Yeah, you're actually not the only person that said that to me this week. My good friend, he works in EA, Oisin Glennon. He said the exact same thing. He said, "Why is it first person? First person's been done." And the answer I get back to him is, I actually respect CD Projekt for going into first person because, yes, they are known for The Witcher, and The Witcher 3 is one of the most well-reviewed games ever. But I don't think it's the view that really got them them scores. It was their stories, their interwoven connections with characters, the world building, and I think for them to do a game that is set in a cyberpunk city, I'm really looking forward to that thing, because I just know that you will have the story there, you will have the character interaction, and the drive mechanics look actually very good. I was a little bit worried. I thought it might be just, you get from one place to the other, but it looks like pretty open world, like a Grand Theft Auto in the future. And I like the way it's gritty. I like the way when you make money, you can spend it on, whatever you want. And I'm looking forward to that game. I think it is doing something a little bit different. Deus Ex is very dated. Deus Ex, when you walk down an alley, there's a guy standing there, and 7 hours later, you walk down that same alley, and he is in the exact same position. And that mechanic has been used from the first one right up until the last one, and now they're not making those games anymore. And I think that's because they didn't move with the times. And I think it is a great time for Cyberpunk 2077 to come into the fray and to show what CD Projekt can do with a totally new franchise. They could have easily went and did another Witcher game or another fantasy game, but the fact that it's totally flipped and first person, and I love that company as well, that's the reason why I'm looking forward to it.
You don't show it at all.
No. Michael, are you psyched or?
I was kind of in the same boat about, like, I didn't like the way they went to first person, only because it's an RPG. I mean, I don't see the point in creating a character when you're going to be in the first person mode. You can't even see the character unless you're looking in mirrors and such. But then again, like, I mean, the same sort of, I didn't really get to say it in Streets of Rage, but I'm open-minded to change. So I'm not going to diss something until I physically have it in my hands and play it. And Cyberpunk 2077 is definitely one game that I will buy, because they did say it's a massive open world, open city, and this is going to be one of the most alive cities that's ever been in a game to date. So that's what I'm loving to do. I'm going to love to do, just walking around the city, seeing everyone doing their thing and stuff changing and stuff happening that, like, wouldn't really happen in any other game, that sort of way. And that's what I'm looking forward to the most, really, for this game. So, and the gameplay I saw was good. I mean, the graphics were amazing. The city was, like, so vast, and everything was going on, and, like, too much was going on. Like, you were like, what's going on here? But, like, even the driving mechanics and all was really cool. So, as I said, I'm open-minded, and I'm looking forward to seeing more.
Sweet. Jack?
Honestly, I've been hyped for this game ever since it first got released, or first got announced. What was it, nearly 10 years ago now? Nearly, it was announced years ago at this stage.
It's definitely going back. Yeah, it's definitely going back a long time.
The problem being is, at the moment, I've got no Wi-Fi at my own home, so I only got to watch a small bit of the gameplay, and from what I saw of it, it is very good. But all that hype got overshadowed by a completely different announcement, but I won't go into that.
What is it?
The Onimusha remake.
Yes.
Oh, nice. I didn't have that in the news section. Scoop.
Yeah. And the only reason being is because for years I've been wanting a fifth Onimusha, and this could finally be the chance of finally seeing even just a small glimmer of hope that there'll be a fifth one.
Well, I hope that comes out for you, Jack. Definitely.
I have been waiting years for it.
You have to platinum that one, yeah?
Oh, I will be.
So the last bit of news before we move on to the main topic that we want to talk about is Xbox All Access subscription is offering a console, Xbox Live, and Xbox Game Pass for a monthly fee. What does everyone think about this, and why do you think Xbox are doing this at this stage?
I think it's brave, but at the same time, I think it's brilliant. I think they're first out the door with it. I think it's an awesome idea. It kind of give people a little bit more security with what they're playing and stuff like that. I think even for parents and stuff, if they want to monitor, they can probably set parents restrictions for kids to play certain games and stuff like that. But they're not. Kids aren't going out or going downtown or going to these shops and all that on their own and trying to look at these things. All this stuff is just at home. I think the idea of safety behind it is kind of good. At the same time, we're killing shops. This telehealth is cutting literally all video game shops out. But I definitely think, as an idea, as a concept, you pay $35, isn't it, a month? That's the higher tier package or something they have for it.
Yeah,
and you get all the games you want. You have your Xbox Live. Like, your Xbox Live is like 60 quid a year or something. And then you got to pay for your games. Then you got to pay for your console. So all in all, it's like a 2-year thing. You go sign up for or something, is it? And it comes up to like $870 or something. And like, easily, if you take your console into account, if you take all your games and your Xbox Live and whatever, you're going to spend the same amount of money either way. So I think the idea of that, like having that as a package where you don't have to really go out and do anything, it's all brought to you, is a fantastic idea. And it also gives them leverage for when they like release their next console. Like, oh, they can just go, oh, bump up your package. Or I think that it's a really good way of putting them ahead of the game for marketing and selling on consoles and stuff.
Michael?
Yeah, like he did say it was brave of them, and I also agree. I mean, what's stopping people moving away with their Xbox that they just got, not paying the rest of the money? You know, that's sort of way. I just feel that there might be some holes there that they might need to look at, but at least they're sort of trial basing it. But other than that, though, it's an amazing offer. Like the console, the Game Pass, which gives you about over 100 games, and it gives you the Xbox Live to be able to play online and stuff like that for €35 a month. I'd gladly pay that. No bother at all. And it's definitely one to look at for like more like the future consoles like PlayStation 5 and Xbox 2, if it is going to be called that, because as you said, you're paying for, like, say, about 400 quid for, let's say, the PlayStation Pro. You're paying about €60 for a controller. You're paying like another 50-60 odd for a game, and then the Xbox or the PlayStation Live is like 50-55 quid, and then the Game Pass is about what, like €7 or €8 a month, something like that. And that all adds up. But at least the €35 a month thing will be for people who are budgeted, you know, like they can keep a few quid aside each week, and then they could be like, here's my €35 this week. I'm going to keep gaming. Thank you very much. You know?
Sweet. Jack, what do you think?
As valid a points as both Seamus and Michael make there, I have to, like, they make great points, and it is a fantastic idea, but I for one think it's more so a case of the Xbox One is nearly dying. Because you see most posts from people, you get the one like we had in the group there a couple of days ago, that Microsoft or the Xbox One has a better interface. But at the end of the day, a lot of the games in top tens and they're usually PlayStation games. They're not usually Xbox games. So PlayStation is kind of pulling ahead, and I think this is Xbox's kind of idea on trying to catch up, try and get more people onto the platform. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And I think, yes, you have to say that PlayStation are pulling ahead, but you also have to look at the showing that Microsoft did at E3. Like they wiped the floor with PlayStation. Let's be honest. They had exclusive after exclusive. Plus, they're taking on these studios, Ninja Theory being one of them, one of the best studios out there, created some great games in the last couple of years. And I think, okay, if it's a case that we've got maybe 2, max 3 more years in this generation, I personally think it's a great deal, especially for families that, you know, mightn't be able to afford an Xbox for Christmas for their kid, that, you know, they can go out and say, okay, well, we can afford whatever it is, 35 quid a month, but we can't afford the 500 quid. And I know families like that, and they would love nothing more than to buy their kid an Xbox. So there's that aspect to it as well. I don't think there's anything to lose here. Michael, you brought up the point that people could move away, but surely there's a lock-in mechanism that they can just shut down the system with the systems. Yeah, with the system.
Yeah, just on that, they'd have the MAC address for every system they send out.
So, I mean, there is, like, they've thought of everything. Microsoft, one thing that they do well is their business approach. They're trying to get ahead, and they've been doing that. And like with E3, I think they've shown that they've really, you know, try to turn the tide and make it for gamers rather than just this entertainment system. But I mean, time will tell. I could possibly end up buying an Xbox myself. I don't have an Xbox. I have a PC and a PlayStation, and I play a lot of the exclusives that I want to play on my PC, that are Xbox, the likes of Forza and that. But I'd be interested to see what comes out of that, and do people actually jump on it? Because I don't know. I think it could be a good deal. Yeah, so look, we're going to move on to a very sad bit of news. Something that happened over the weekend. There was a shooting at a Madden tournament in Jacksonville in Florida. I'm just going to read the report here so I don't mess up anything. The suspect who opened fire during a Madden video game tournament in Jacksonville, Florida on Sunday actively targeted other gamers in his shooting spree. That was said by the sheriff. The shooting left 2 dead and 10 injured from gunshots, and 1 person with a non-gunshot injury. All of the injuries are suspected to survive. And he says that as bad as this is, it could have been an awful lot worse. But as gamers, it obviously, I remember I woke up in the morning after it happened, and I just was flicking through my phone and I seen it, and you see, it's a monthly thing in America now, and it's horrible. But when it's connected to, like, we run gaming tournaments, and when it's connected to something close to us and our community, we thought we had to mention it. Guys, we're just paying our respects. Seamus, if you want to go and let us know what you think with the likes of security at the events. And
like I this kind of baffles me in one sense. Like, it's what happened. This guy was 24 years old, and stuff like that. And these things happen. Like, people, obviously, he had a mental problem. And he was admitted at 2 separate occasions over the last 10 years. So, like, for some reason, he's out and about. Obviously, because he's an adult, he can probably check himself in and out of these places. But I definitely think for events like that, events that aren't in a hotel or something. This was just in a bar, as far as I remember. And like, there should be security on the doors and stuff at these events. There should be the likes of, everyone who goes to these events has to sign in and stuff like that. But nearly, like, it's going to get to a stage now, I think it's where it's going to escalate, where people are going to have to take psych evaluations and stuff just to enter these kind of competitions. Like, and that's a bit out of control. I think for any sort of event, especially like that, there should be security at the event. Maybe not even on the floor, maybe at the doors, securing exits for people to get out and stuff. This, like, a lot of these injuries kind of stuff happen because people couldn't get out quick enough. And like, there was video clips of, like, people playing the game, and you could hear the shooting and stuff in the background. Like, it's absolutely disgusting, and it puts a lot of pressure on video game communities like ourselves, like anyone else who wants to kind of, take that next leap and start tournaments and start events and invite people to cons and stuff like that, where we have to personally think of everyone else's safety. Like, anything, if you go to a convention or anything like that, there's always, like, big exits and stuff like that. Like, all these things are, like, clearly kind of marked out, and there's always, like, I think there's a certain, like a cowardice that can come into play as well. Like, obviously no one, like, I wasn't there, I didn't see it. Like, but this guy pulled a gun and started shooting. How many people were in this building? Like, I've heard, like, what was it? 2 people died. He took his own life, and then 11 people were injured.
Yeah.
How did he get that many shots off? Like,
Yeah.
If it's a team of people and it's like a terrorist attack, I kind of understand, because these guys are going in with machine guns. This guy went with one handgun and then took 2 people's lives and then injured 11 people before shooting himself. Like, it's not acceptable on any level. That there should be, like, there should be a security thing in there, padded vests in to make the tackles to stop these kind of things straight away. It's like if one person dies at these kind of events, it's too much. It's literally absolutely a shame that this happened. My condolences go out to any families or anyone affected by it. But this never should have happened. Full stop. This happened because a guy lost a game of Madden football. That's literally what sticks out in any gamer's mind. It's like, who are they going to target now? It's like all these things, like, even with the Fortnite, with the kids and the Fortnite issues we've had this year as well, a lot of pressure is on the gaming community to show a new positive light.
Definitely. Thanks for that, Seamus. Michael?
I don't think I can really add anything to what Seamus was saying, but, like,
Yeah.
no, it's exactly, like, he hits the nail on the head. Like, it's security, and it's all about security. If there's no security, there's no control over these things as well. Like, anytime when I was talking to the lads about it, when I woke up and heard about it, where first question was how did he get up to where he was with a handgun? Where did he, like, and of course, where did he get the handgun? Were bags not searched on their way in? I mean, this is Florida, and this isn't, like, the only thing to happen in Florida, like, within the past, like, shooting wise in the past 2-3 years,
Yeah.
but, like, it's just crazy to me. And again, like, Seamus hits the nail on the head. Like, they really need to look at security. They need to, like, but I don't think they should really be taking psych evaluation tests, as he was saying. That's
Oh no, I wasn't
definitely-
saying that. I'm saying, is that what they're going to put in place next? Is that, like, the next thing we're going to say to people? Oh, you can't go to this event. You have to pass this. So it's like being guard a vet just to go to an event kind of thing. Like, is that the next measure they're going to put in place?
I feel the next measure they're probably going to be putting in place is like no bags, not you're not allowed to bring in anything but the clothes on your back. You know, that sort of way. The only people who are going to be allowed in there with any sort of bags or equipment or anything is going to be media, and that's it. Like no one else is allowed to get in there. And I'd say for media, they're probably going to put a real big strict thing on it now. Like you can't just walk up and say, "Oh, hey, I'm like a vlogger. I want to vlog this. I'm going to bring in my camera crew and stuff like that." They're going to say, "No, you're going to have to be part of a big, massive media thing, or you're going to have to be well known to get any sort of access into these things." Other than that, though, they're just going to take the bags off you, and that's it. Like you're just going to go in with clothes.
There's two sides to that as well. Like we've got like, even because I was at Celtic Trolley, you got teams and stuff that are sponsored by certain companies to bring their gear and have their gear at these events. If people can't bring bags and stuff into these places with their own stuff or their own sponsors, a lot of gamers and stuff like that, like the actual community itself is going to start to fall more and more because people aren't making any money out of it. So people can't afford to travel to other countries to show off their skills and stuff. Like this thing has a massive ripple effect on just the gaming scene in general, just the community.
Huge.
And how people are going to compete in the future.
I think what hit home for me was when I watched the news, it was actually the stream footage from Twitch. And I was just like, you know, I have friends that stream on Twitch, and here I am listening to a shooting going on at a tournament. It was mind blowing, and our thoughts and prayers go out to anyone affected. Well, we're affected, so it goes out to everyone. But respect to the family and the victims. So we'll leave it at that, guys. I think we've all had our say. Jack, if you want to jump in with something real quick, the lads have really covered everything, I think.
They've basically covered everything. There's nothing I can add on to that.
Yeah. So that was the hardest bit of hitting news we've had in the show. So hopefully we treated it with the respect that it deserved, and condolences to the families. So we're going to bring in Una Ming, and we're going to do our community section. I hope you're ready, Una. There you are once again.
I'm so ready.
Always ready. I hope we came across okay.
You did indeed. Yeah, no, always ready, always lurking in the background. We have a nice few questions here. One from Ray saying, like Streets of Rage 4 coming out of nowhere, what game took you by surprise that came out of nowhere and what you're looking for? For him, it's the Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, nice choice. God, I'm not actually sure with that one. Anyone else want to jump in with that one first?
I think that question caught me off guard more than any games have.
A shock release.
Shock release, yeah.
I'm actually going to say The Last of Us at the first E3. I think it was shown. There was gameplay footage, and I remember it was. You know, you knew it was Naughty Dog, but you were like, what's it going to be? Is it going to be another Uncharted? And it ended up being what it was. And I remember the first kind of gameplay trailer of The Last of Us had me hooked. And I think it happened maybe 2 years before release. So that was the one that took me by surprise, was The Last of Us.
It wasn't Sekiro, no?
No, because I knew there was something coming. That's why.
I think for me, it's probably Smash Bros. I think literally Nintendo have knocked the ball out of the park with this. I think Smash Bros, like this Smash Bros rendition, is going to be absolutely incredible. And I didn't, like, God knows they literally had it going on for like 9 hours after they announced it, but it has everything that anyone ever wanted in a Smash Bros, apart from Waluigi, apparently. But you know, we're going to get it. But like, I just think
DLC.
Yeah. I think for like the Smash Bros games, it hasn't been one in a while that like everyone's gone, Jesus, I'm gonna have to get that. Like everyone still plays competitively. They still play like the ones from the GameCube and stuff. Like they don't have ones, like they have ones obviously on the Wii and stuff, but they don't go to tournaments. So this is something that people are gonna have, like they're gonna go out of the way, buy a Switch Pro controller and learn how to master and bring back to the kind of like the esports scene.
Deadly. Michael?
If we're talking about games to take me by surprise, up to date, like these games coming out, I think the whole thing about them completely redoing Resident Evil 2 took me by surprise, because I honestly thought it was just going to be the same game, like Resident Evil 1 HD in a way. They just took out the whole awful voice acting and upgraded it to better voice acting. The Resident Evil 2 HD, like to see it on the big screen behind the camera behind Leon and even Claire as well, and the way they've totally transformed it and stuff like that, it blew my mind, and I'm very looking forward to it. And then let's say on the other hand, there was one during the E3 as well. I don't know if you guys remember the teaser trailer for the new Doom. Literally,
Oh yes, class.
literally, you're going through a barren wasteland. You don't know what's going on. There's destroyed buildings and all. Then you see the monsters come up, and then you just see the Doom guy smashing the skull, and the camera rising up. And there's actually one of my mods, Kuroki, who loves Doom guy to bits. She went nuts. She went absolutely nuts, and so did I. And we were both like wooing the whole thing and stuff like that. It's crazy. It was really crazy.
Wonderful. I guess moving on to the next question, kind of follows on. Do you feel that computer games are going down the reboot route of music, or movies rather, in that there's a lack of originality now, and they're just going to rehash everything?
I suppose I can take this first. Yeah, I do understand where that question is coming from. I think in the first year of the PS4, we had a lot of remasters, and it was remastered games from the previous generation, maybe a year beforehand. I think games that I remember bringing it up again, but Last of Us got remastered, and I think Grand Theft Auto 5 got remastered. There is a sense that we're getting these games from, say, 10 years ago or 20 years ago. And I personally like that. As Michael said, we're getting a Resident Evil that's not just a fresh lick of paint. It's a totally new look. And if it is anything to go by what the trailers have given us, I am very excited. So yes, there is a certain rehash, but I mean, you're always going to get that when the past has been so good and they want to continue to bring that into the future. I think we're always going to have rehashes.
I think at the same time, though, we've had the rise of the battle royale this year. Like, so at the same time, we're getting new genres of games coming out and stuff. At the same time, I think gaming as a whole is evolving at the same level. Like, we're getting rehashes of games where they're making things and they're going to be close, but not the same as the originals. And at the same time, we're getting like this whole new genre of games that are kind of trying to get people to interact more. I think the single player genre of games is developing at a new level where it's kind of taking the old and trying to improve on it. And I think the multiplayer side of games is doing the same thing now. Apparently, except for the fact that everyone's jumping on the battle royale bandwagon. I think they're trying to be more inventive now at the same time as they're bringing out all this kind of old stuff. And it's kind of an exciting era of gaming to kind of be in. This whole like end of this kind of series of consoles into the next one, I think it's going to be kind of an interesting handing of the torch kind of thing as to what kind of games we play. Like in 2 years' time, what kind of games will we be playing?
Daddy. Michael, anything to add?
Yeah, like I mean, reboots and remakes can be hit and misses a lot of the time. Like if you're talking about movies, like sometimes the director just completely shoves off the table all that the old guy, like the old one did, and he wants.
What are you talking about there, Michael? What are you talking about? Because I've been burned the last couple of years with movies.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Alien Covenant, I don't know, Star Wars.
No, yeah. Well, there's a good few. Like, well, they're not really kind of remakes or anything. It's more or less like it's just the next one in the series, but it's not exactly how you remember it. The directors, I don't know what way the directors want to do it. The directors want to do it there. I mean, if you're talking like if you want to talk like games to movies, that sort of thing. Like if you're talking the Resident Evil series, that just went from bad to worse to awful to terrible to what the hell is this guy doing? To stop, you know. And like then now apparently there's talks of them rebooting it again, and of course of all these game movies coming out like Sonic the Hedgehog and Metal Gear Solid and all, and maybe even The Last of Us, who knows? But like if they try and redo these like later on down the year, the good thing about games is when you're trying to remake and rehash games, all you're doing is they're taking the same game but they're upping the graphics, and they might change a few mechanics here and there, but it's still the best game you've played back in the day. Like if they were to remake Resident Evil 7, right, or sorry, not Resident Evil 7, Final Fantasy 7, like the next year or two, with like updated graphics and stuff, but they kept everything the same way it was. Like I know that's coming the way it is, but they've changed it all. People are still gonna love it, but they're still wondering why the hell it has to be released in episodes. That's the only thing that they're going to worry about. But once it comes out, people are going to be over the moon with it. You know, that's their way. Movies, though, don't seem to do that. Movies just kind of go downhill for some reason.
That topic is literally this podcast, Schrodinger's cat.
Yeah.
If we ever see that game. Anyway, Jack, what what do you want to say?
I have to agree that it is kind of the generation of remasters and reboots, but at the same time, like you've got the Spyro one coming out now in November, but there's still single player games and the like that are coming out that are surprising people, that are taking people out of the left field. Like again, like Ray said, Ghost of Tsushima, that completely surprised me as well. But then, as I said, you've got the remaster and reboots that are exactly the same. Like you've got the Shadow of the Colossus one, that was exactly the same as I remember playing it. And I even looked it up, and they used nearly the exact same code for the remaster or the remake as they did for the original PS2 game, just with a couple of tweaks.
It's so beautiful, though.
It looks beautiful, but the code is nearly exactly the same as the PS2 version. So that just even goes to show how far along it was even at that time. But again, you've got the Resident Evil 2 one. That looks like a complete reboot nearly. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
New game altogether.
And that's actually all we have for tonight.
Perfect. So we are a little bit over schedule, but we had a good show, so we don't care. So we're going to do our shout outs and sign offs and everything else. Michael, you're our special guest, so if you want to go first and tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, sure. So you guys can find me at facebook.com/Payne Train Gaming, mixer.com/Payne Train Gaming, and then twitter.com/Payne Train Gaming. Just drop the last G because it didn't allow me to do that much.
Boo. Jack, where can the good people find you?
Just my usual of Twitter and Instagram. Just follow me at Waxticles.
Una Ming?
You can find me over on Twitch at Unitex, YUNITEX.
Seamus?
Is the finger guns necessary?
Yeah.
She's practicing it all day.
For me, it's just Twitch and Twitter at Maroxide.
Deadly. I've been your host, Ronan Fox, and this has been the Republic of Players podcast. There's some bets going that I was going to get that wrong, so I'm pretty happy with myself. If you like the show, just hit the like button and subscribe to our YouTube. Also go over to our Facebook. Our website is back up and running now. There's going to be a flow of new content coming to that. And Michael, I just want to say thanks a million for coming on. You've been great sport. Great to actually understand what Mixer is now, because none of us had a clue before you told us what Mixer is. So this has been the Republic of Players podcast. I am Ronan Fox, and we are out.